Know thyself, accept thyself, and love thyself. When you know yourself, you are empowered. When you accept yourself, you are invincible. As Dr. Peter said, this month, we've decided to take up the topic relationship, heaven or hell. Heaven and or hell. I mean, there's all kinds of combos. And here's what I know to be true is we're going to explore this month on how to stay connected and compassionate and flexible and understanding and loving in our relationships. For how we hold and regard and behave towards those that we are in close relationship with pretty much impacts everything in our life, doesn't it? Pretty much, right? So we have these relationships. We have these relationships as heaven or hell. We have intimate partners, albeit spouses or partners or whatever we choose to call that intimate relationship. We have families. That's sort of the blood type, the parents, the children. We have our children. We have our in-laws. You know, all this wonderful family relationships. We have co-workers, if we're currently working, that we have relationships with. And unless we're living on an island, and no man or woman is an island, we have neighbors, we have spiritual community. Look around, you know who we are. And so we have all of these relationships that can be heaven or hell. Yes? Okay, well, even if perhaps for some reason you don't think you're in a relationship that could be called heaven or hell, I guarantee you are. So you're not excluded. I'm just letting you know. I guarantee you're in a relationship that at times you feel like it's heaven and sometimes you feel like it's hell. And that's just a state of mind, as we know. That's what we teach. So today we're going to start with the most significant one, the longest lasting one, the most critical one, the closest relationship that we can ever have and possibly have. And oh my God, I left it off the list. That's right. It's the one relationship that we can't walk away from. It's the one relationship we can't divorce. It's the one relationship that we can't end, although I guess one could attempt ultimately to end it. But we really don't know what happens after we drop the body, so I suspect we can't end it. And that's the one that we have with ourselves, and that's where we're starting today. So think about that. I invite you to place your hand on your chest somewhere that you want. Just place your hand on your chest. And realize and really feel that the person that you're touching right now, if you're touching someone else, get your hand off of them and put it on your chest. Both of them if you need to. The person you're touching right now is the one and only person that you are guaranteed to have the longest relationship with. Guaranteed. You have to, with this person that you're touching, you have to feed this person the most, take care of this person, clothe this person, talk to this person, listen to this person, etc. Or perhaps you choose not to do some of that, but it is the most. And even if you wanted to, like I said, you can't get rid of him or her. It's a 24/7 relationship. Okay, you can take your hand off, or you may need to leave it on. And so today, I love this. It's like a three-legged stool. I'm calling this thing thyself cubed. Not squared. Y'all aren't square. It's that. Okay. I didn't hear but one no. But that's all right. You are with me. Yes? Thyself cubed. So we're going to dive into this thing, this relationship that and could quite possibly assist you in having a closer, deeper, more intimate, profound relationship with this person, and that's you, thyself, okay? So we're going to talk about three things on this three-legged stool. Know thyself, accept thyself, and love thyself. And if you think you already got it figured out, go ahead, you can walk out, but you might be in for a surprise. A three-legged stool. What happens in a three-legged stool if you're missing one? Yeah. Or you're missing two, you fall over even faster. If you don't have any of the three, you are flat on the floor, aren't you? You're starting there. So it's like this three-legged stool, and you have to have all of them. So we're going to start with know thyself. It was written on the forecourt of the temple of Apollo at Delphi. Know thyself. And the legend tells it that the 7 sages of ancient Greece, philosophers, statesmen, and lawgivers who laid the foundation for Western culture, gathered in Delphi to inscribe know thyself at the entry to the sacred oracle. So it was inscribed many, many thousands of years ago, right? Now, it's also said that even before then in the East, it's in the Bhagavad Gita and many other places, the same thing, know thyself. The adage subsequently became this touchstone, and as the Western philosophers extended its reach, then all of it was expanded. So we've heard this a lot, right? Know thyself. You know, I looked it up and I was like, wow, there's some pretty smart dudes talking about this. Socrates, know thyself. Aristotle, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Pythagoras, know thyself and thou wilt know the universe. So this whole thing about know thyself, well, so we're starting out knowing that it's not enough to accept ourselves and love ourselves. We need to know ourselves, because if we don't know ourselves, we don't know what to accept or what to love, right? We can't make pertinent choices in our life. It's challenging and difficult at best to know what may be going on in our life. And when we come to know thyself, especially when it comes to triggers, for example, you know, triggers have a way of popping up in our life. Or maybe it's just me. Does anybody have triggers? Oh, good. Now we're participating. It's like the more I know myself, when that trigger comes up, then I can go, I may not think it's something out there. And because I know myself more and more, over time, I can help ease my finger off that trigger. I can just let it go, and I can understand why I'm being triggered and what is happening. So, some questions, participatory questions. First one that I'd love to hear from you is, what do you know for sure about yourself? What? I'm loved.
I have red hair.
I have red hair. I'm a girl. I am loved. Boy, first service had fewer people and blew y'all away. Come on now. Tell me. Just shout it out.
I'm a guy.
I'm a guy. I love nature.
I am happy.
I am happy.
I need lots of alone time.
I need lots of alone time.
I am.
What? I am here. I am.
I can be impatient.
I can be impatient. What do you know for sure about yourself?
I am whole, healthy, and complete.
I am whole, healthy, and complete.
Sometimes I have abrasive spots.
Sometimes I have abrasive spots. Thoughts. Oh, here we go again. You should have heard me at first service. Violins on TV. Okay, anyway, you had to have been there. All right, now, for those of you who didn't participate in the last question, what values do you hold dearly? Peace. Kindness. Integrity. Honesty. Respect. Nonviolence. Quality. What? Reliability. Compassion. Authenticity. Freedom. Happiness. Love. Science of mind. Beauty. Equality. Great. What are your non-negotiables with yourself? Respect. For those of you who haven't answered, come on, hop in.
Integrity. Do my best.
Do my best. Integrity.
Faithfulness.
Faithfulness.
Be fair.
Well, be fair. Listen to myself. Dignity. Creativity. What was that over here? Believe in myself. Oh, y'all are doing great. Wait, I can't catch four at the same time. Kindness? Trust my instinct. Loyalty? Value myself.
Self-expression.
Self-expression. These are non-negotiables. Okay, so what are some of your patterns and habits that perhaps run you?
I'm lazy.
I'm lazy.
Overeating.
Over what?
Overeating.
Overeating. Procrastination, escapism, complacency, perfection, fear, impatience, insecurity, love, lack, judgment, procrastination. Do you hear yourself in the room? Blame. Okay, great. So maybe they don't run you, but there are these habits. And there are these patterns, and so someone said something similar, but it's the only one that I'm going to admit today, and that we have time for me. Mine is emotional eating. Mine is emotional eating. It runs me, and sometimes it doesn't run me, but I know that that is something that is true about me. Up until this moment, I'd like to affirm. So it's not something that I actually theoretically know about myself. I truly know it. And it helps me in my life because it pops up quite a bit. And I know when I'm emotionally eating, I can choose what to do about it in the moment, but I'm very aware because I know myself. And sometimes it's a whole bag of popcorn, and that's on a pretty night. Sometimes I have to have more than one bag of popcorn. Something else has to come into the scene because one of the things I like is watching Orange is the New Black, and I just finished this season. But that's a whole nother thing. So as we know ourselves, then we know why we're responding that way. We know when we get triggered. And I tell you what's so interesting for me with emotional eating, it's not just when I'm upset, depressed, or stressed. I celebrate emotional eating. Like when I want to celebrate, let's go to my favorite restaurant and have some fried food. I'm from the South. And my last name is Fry. Do I need to say more? Just don't. I've been called French stir and all that. Don't worry. So I know what's motivating me. I know what's going on. And so as we continue to know ourselves and to know thyself, then again, we're awake. We're more aware. And if we don't, then we just don't know what our thoughts and feelings are. Sometimes we bypass them. Sometimes we decide to do things like watching a heck of a lot of television or whatever it is, anything so that we don't have to know ourselves, we don't have to feel it, we don't have to, be with it. And so this whole notion of know thyself is important for our life because otherwise we get stuck in a rut. And when we know it and we know ourselves, we can actually move out of that rut and stop the pattern. I know it. And now I'm at choice to end the pattern if I want to. I love what Ernest Holmes says here. And I'm gonna change it to gender-neutral language. This is what I do when I read any of Ernest Holmes' writings. I mean, he started in the 1920s, so it's all, man is humankind. And so I love to switch it up a little bit. So it is this divine self-knowingness in humankind which distinguishes us from all of other creation. It belongs to us alone. It appears full-orbed in each of us alone. We alone are able to consciously work out our own destiny to determine what manner of life we shall lead. Amen. So it is this self-knowingness. He calls it divine self-knowingness. It is this self-knowingness that determines the life we lead. To know ourselves takes time and energy. And to know ourselves takes an enormous amount of courage. It takes courage to stand in the face of emotional eating. So ultimately, it takes a willingness to live from that place, that know thyself place. And it's not an intellectual thing, so that when we get triggered or anything else comes up in our life, even celebrations, we know what's happening, right? We wake up and to know that this is what's truly going on in our life. So the reason why this is one of the 3 legs on this stool, in our most significant relationship, let's do that again, remember this? The one that you're with 24/7, is because it's the only way that you can grow into who you are becoming, is to know thyself. Well, then I found this quote. When you know yourself, you are empowered. When you accept yourself, you are invincible. Wow. Now here comes the second leg of the stool. We're empowered when we know ourselves, but when we accept ourselves, we are invincible. So I looked up acceptance. I'm like, okay, acceptance. Acceptance is the action or process of being received as adequate or suitable. I think the bar is pretty low there. I found that very interesting. But that's acceptance. Self-acceptance, on the other hand, is an affirmation or acceptance of oneself in spite of weaknesses or deficiencies. Those that we think we might have, or those we think other people might think we have. So that's a stronger place in self-acceptance. So we have to learn, can we accept the things that we're not good at? Can we accept that? Can we accept the things that we wish were different? Is there anything about yourself that you wish were different? If so, shout it out. Setting boundaries. Taking time. More productive. Be less selfish. Staying conscious. Being on time. Help. Health. Being more selfish. Being what? Focus. Accepting help. Being more confident. Knowing when to let go. So see, we know these things that we wish were different. And can we accept ourselves exactly where we are, who we are in this moment? Place your hand on your chest again, please. This person that 24/7 hangs out with you. Can you accept this person? Can you truly accept where you are, who you are, how you look right now? So Dr. Peacher and I were talking about this a little bit, and she brought up a great point. She said, you know what? What if we all agreed? What if we all agreed that we love the fact that we're all characters? We're quirky. Anybody here not quirky? Oh, good, you know thyself. I mean, if you think about it, really, she likes to call people here in the community, not just in the community, outside the community. It's not just all about us. But funny bunnies, right? But we're quirky, you know? I like to wear pants. She likes to wear dresses. Whatever, you know? But I do have some quirkiness. What do you have that's quirky? A couple of you. What? Ornery. What? Big feet? Pig's feet? What did you say? You hate feet. See, that's quirky. Yeah. I love feet. That's quirky. Isn't that great? I was thinking about this. Where did we make a left turn? We grew up with beloved characters. Let's just think of the tribe called Winnie the Pooh. They're all quirky. Let's think about it. There's Piglet. You know, there's Rabbit. He's really quirky. There's Pooh himself. There's Eeyore. And there's Tigger. I said I wouldn't do that second service. I only did one bounce. But they're quirky characters, aren't they? Let's think of the Peanuts. Man, are they quirky? I mean, think about it. Charlie Brown is just like, you know, I'm such a blockhead, loser, self-doubt, oh my God, always get it wrong, can't pitch. Lucy's just a control freak. Linus is so codependent on the blankie. He won't let go of the blankie. He did once. Right? Quirky. So what if we all just accepted our own quirkiness and everyone else's quirkiness? Well, first of all, if we accept our own, I think we're a little faster to accepting all the other quirkiness. So when we come to truly accept ourselves, I believe, in the times that I've accepted myself more fully, our lives become more peaceful. They become more calm. There's not so much resistance going on within our own self. Ernest Holmes, I love this quote. He says, "We should think of ourselves as being surrounded by perfect life and poised in an eternal calm. We are in a sea of untroubled waters of life from which we may freely drink. We must do the drinking," he says. "No one else can do this for us. We should hold out the cup of acceptance until it is filled and overflowing." Place your hand on your chest again. Hold up that cup of acceptance until it is filled and overflowing. This chalice of the heart is held up that the heavenly flow may fill it with God's abundant life. See, I believe that when this cup of acceptance, when we come to truly accept ourselves as we are, doesn't mean that we don't want to improve, but can we accept ourselves right here, right now, who I am? And as we hold up this cup of acceptance, this chalice of the heart, then when it's filled up by our own acceptance, it overflows, I'm imagining, into this ocean of love. And I believe that the most exquisite, pristine ocean one can swim in is the ocean of self-love. And that's the third leg on the stool. We have to have all three. Self-love. Ernest Holmes tells us that love always liberates. It always increases our livingness. Place your hand on your chest if you would. And just, have there been times when the love of this self has not liberated you? Love liberates. So, if you think of, I want you to get the past week in your consciousness, Sunday to Sunday, and begin to fill up that timeline and ask yourself, how much time did you give to work, if you're working, this past week? How much time did you give your love and yourself to your family There may be many people in that. In this same week, think of how much time you gave loving your spouse or partner, boyfriend, girlfriend. Think of in this same week, how much time did you give to your pets? To show love and care and affection for your pets. How much time did you give to your car? How much time did you give to your friends? And now you've got a sense of that on this week's timeline. And now let's see, how much time did you give to yourself? It's just for us to feel, each of us, right? How much time did we spend caring for our body in this week? And not just I got to stuff something in this in 15 minutes before I go to the next meeting. How much time in this week did you give to yourself loving what you love to do? What you love to do. So I did watch Orange is the New Black. I didn't wait for a vacation because I was way of loving myself in an odd, strange, quirky way. I can feel it in the room. Can you? Put your hand on your chest. It's okay. We're right here. Say, I got you, girl. I got you, guy. I got you. I'm right here. So, do I love myself enough to accept myself exactly where I am? If we just let go of the rearview mirror that's happened up until we walked in this door, just let it go and look out the front windshield. As someone wise told me once as a small girl, just look out the front windshield from here on out. Don't worry about that. Right here. Loving yourself. Start from here, from this place, from this moment. With these 3 legs on the stool. Otherwise, what we're really doing is we're kidding ourselves and we're saying, I'm loving myself. Are we really? How long would a relationship last with someone else if we spent that much time on them? Ernest Holmes, in his brilliance, again, says, I think love is the only security there is in the universe. There is nothing worthwhile without it. And with it, a person can live, even if they have nothing else. Maybe it's really time. Maybe the calls come before. We don't have to wait for something dramatic to happen in our own life. I can imagine that many of us, if not most of us in this room, has had a flash somewhere in our life in that rearview mirror where something could have turned on a dime. And we might not have been able to walk, or we were concerned about a diagnosis or whatever. I remember when it happened for me almost 2 years ago. I swore to love myself first and foremost, and I did for about 5 months. And here I am again. Wherever I go, there I am. But today, I can say, it's okay. I'm going to take me up differently. I'm going to know myself. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to accept myself for who I am. And I'm going to put myself first on the priority list. I think perhaps we need to do that so that we're not somewhere way down it. If we think about that week again, unless I'm the only one. It's guaranteed to be the longest lasting relationship you will ever have in your life. This beloved, this magnificent one will never leave you I suspect even when the body is dropped, we don't know how that relationship continues. And sometimes if we think how someone would or would not stick around with us based upon how this one loves this one, maybe not so much. And yet when we love ourselves and we accept ourselves and we know ourselves, everything else is gravy, Ernest Holmes tells us. So one more time, just indulge me. Just place your hand on this beloved. If you want to get really intimate, place both. The person you are touching right now is the most precious, amazing, magnificent person you could ever hope to spend 24/7 with. And allow yourself to feel that love that I know undoubtedly you do have for yourself. And allow that to fill up your cup of acceptance and say, it's okay. It's okay, girl. It's okay, guy. We're going to start here, right now. Arm in arm, hand in hand, heart to heart. One body. Jan Van Zant tells us, know thyself, love thyself, accept thyself, love thyself, no matter what you've done, where you've been. So in this moment, on this day of independence and freedom, you have the freedom to take yourself, thyself up in some whole new ways. And I really trust, for the sake of thyself, you will. And so it is.